Hi, I'm Bob Holcomb from Apex Automotive in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Today we're going to be talking about how to accelerate with a standard transmission. Before we can understand how to drive a standard shift car, we have to know what's happening when we push on the clutch. This device here is a clutch disc. It's connected directly to your transmission. Through this hole, this spline, there's a shaft that comes out of the clutch into your transmission. This device is called a pressure plate. The disc is here on the pressure plate and the engine is on this side. When your foot comes up off the pedal, these devices are coupled together and your engine is locked to your transmission. So you can get power from your engine spinning into your transmission. When you push your foot on the clutch, it pushes on this spring and decouples the clutch from your engine and pressure plate. So the engine will spin, but the clutch stays stationary. There's no power going to your wheels. This device is called your slave cylinder. It's hooked to the master cylinder, which is connected directly to your foot. This device pushes on the large spring to release it so that your clutch can couple to your transmission. This device is the master cylinder. A small rod comes out of this cylinder, is connected directly to your clutch pedal. When you push or release your clutch pedal, it moves the fluid from this device to this cylinder and actuates your clutch. Now that we know all the components related to accelerating with a manual transmission, it'll be easier for me to explain how to actually drive the car. So we're going to take our standard transmission car for a ride and see how to accelerate with a standard transmission. When I get in the car, I'm going to want to apply the clutch. Always when I get in the car, I'd hold my foot on the brake. My emergency brake is on. I can now release it and start the car. So I'm in the car with the clutch depressed. If I release the clutch, we can see that our RPM drops slightly. That's because the engine is now turning all the gears in the transmission. So clutch release, transmission not spinning, transmission spinning. You can see it takes energy from the car's engine to spin that transmission. This car has a basic H pattern. It's like two H's married together, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with reverse. To go into first gear, you'd pull it all the way over in the neutral position and push up. That's first gear. Straight back is second. Up and back into the H is going to be third, and straight back is fourth. Now to get to fifth, overdrive or reverse, you need to put a little bit of tension, as the shifter will want to stay into the third, 3 and 4 range. So put some tension on it and then you're into fifth gear. Reverse is the same. You need to push over and pull back to get into reverse. When you let it release, it goes back into the 3-4 range. We're going to start by pulling the shifter all the way towards us and shifting into first gear. We're going to start driving. I'm going to have the car in first gear and release the clutch. As I release the clutch, you'll notice that the car's RPMs start to drop. If I don't add any fuel, we're going to stall the car and we'll have to restart it. So I add a little bit of fuel. Sometimes I just bring the RPMs up by just hitting the throttle. And then you just kind of work the throttle and the clutch together and your car starts to roll. And when you come to a stop, it's important to push the clutch back down or your car will stall. When you want to take off, you want to be sure to give your car a little bit of gasoline. Hit the accelerator, if you will. The reason we do this is so your engine won't stall. I give some acceleration and I let the clutch out at the same time, feathering the gas and the clutch. Once the clutch is coupled, I can then give it gas and the car will accelerate. When it reaches a specific RPM, I decouple the clutch and pull it into second gear. The gear ratio is now changed. I can go much faster with the same engine RPM in second gear, and so on. If I go into third gear, I can go even faster there yet. Although there is a trade-off. If I mistakenly put my car into fifth gear going slow, I'm going to lose a bunch of power. My engine just can't do it, and the car starts to shake. So we'll pull out onto Route 7 and we'll accelerate through the gears and show how it's done. As I'm driving, I'm being aware of my RPMs. I don't want my engine to accelerate out of control. I want to keep it somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 RPM. So when I get up to 2.5, I shift it into the next gear and the RPMs drop to 1,500. As I accelerate, I'm giving the gas slightly, bringing up my speed, changing the gear ratio with the transmission. I now find myself at 50 to 55 miles an hour in fourth gear. I stick it into overdrive and I won't need much accelerator at all, and I'm saving gasoline. Now that we've accelerated, downshifting is another art in itself. And we're in fifth gear now, we pull it into fourth and let the engine slow us down. There's third, applying brake at the same time. We can now go into second, and you can see that the car slows down using the engine's torque to slow us. Pretty soon you'll be driving just like a race car driver with your standard transmission. This is Bob Holcomb from Apex Automotive in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and that's how to accelerate with a standard transmission.